Okay, let's get started. So today we are going to talk about living in an assume breach world, what it really means. My name is Raji Dani. I'm Principal Group Program Manager for Office 365 Security, which is now M365. And I have with me.
My name is Art Sadovsky. I'm a lead program manager also in Office 365 Security.
Okay, some ground rules. So why do I think you are here? I think you are here to understand, first of all, why does Microsoft even believe in assume breach? Why assume breach at all, right? And considering that Microsoft believes in assume breach, what are we really doing about it? What is Microsoft doing to keep your data secure, to protect against the attackers, to detect on time, and to do incident response? And more importantly, what are the tools and the best practices that Microsoft can give you for you to protect your front door? That is, to protect your tenancy, to protect your admins and users, right? And what I really hope that you take away from this presentation is that I have shared so much information with you on exactly how you operate, that you have a trust that security is in our DNA, and it influences everything that we do. Your data is as safe as it can be in our cloud. And I also hope that you're going to follow all the best practices that we are going to discuss here and use the tools to protect your front door, to protect your admins and your users. So before we go deep into the presentation, let's try to understand who are the attackers out there. There are some categories of attackers. These are how they are categorized. The most novice one of them are called script kiddies. The script kiddies don't write any code. They oftentimes use the code or the scripts that's written by more sophisticated attackers. But script kiddies are dangerous because they keep poking around your system. They have a lot of time. They poke around your system. And not only that, the sophisticated attackers anonymously use the script kiddies. The script kiddies don't even know that they are being leveraged, but the attackers actually attack your system using the script kiddies, so they are super dangerous. So that is the lowest in the stack of attackers. The next level of attackers are the sophisticated hackers. So they write code. Their main purpose is to intrude your system and steal your secrets. That's the next set of attackers that you should be really careful about. The third set that we are going to talk about more deeply is the rogue insiders. These are the malicious users who are in your system. In our case, in the Microsoft 365 cloud, these are our own Microsoft engineers. In your tenancy, these are your admins or these are your users. And if they go rogue, and if they have a lot of elevated privileges, and if they can do bad things, this can go undetected for a long time. So I'm going to show some demo on what a malicious insider can do, right? So we need to be pretty careful about these attackers too. The next set of attackers are typically do it for industrial espionage. These are your competitors who are out there to attack and steal your secrets to advance their business interest. The next set of attackers are hacktivists. Hacktivists are dangerous mainly because they don't believe in rules. They push their boundary. They take their risks with law enforcement agencies. They use it for principles, some social or political cause. And the last set of attackers who are getting to be more prevalent now, they are the nation-state actors. So in a way, these are the attackers who are licensed to hack. So the government sponsor them, the rival government sponsors them, and these attackers are out there to attack the rival government and businesses in the rival government for their own interest. So these are the set of attackers that are very prevalent in the industry, and they are getting more and more sophisticated, so we have to assume breach. And we, in Microsoft, and you also as a tenant, should not take anything for granted. So before we go further, we just talked about the set of attackers. Let's try to understand why even assume breach. You have to assume breach because the attackers are getting sophisticated, also because the breach is super costly. The potential cost of cybercrime to the global community, Microsoft did this study, is about $500 billion. right? Let's talk about how many of you have heard of WannaCry attack or non-Petya attack that was very prevalent. I see so many hands going up. They are the kind of ransomware attacks that was very prevalent last year. What typically happens is the attackers encrypt the disk in which your data is stored, and they demand money. And once upon receiving the money, they decrypt and let you have access to your data. The ransomware attacks grow on the order of 30%. It grew last year. So on an average, there are about 4,000 attacks that happens on a day. If you switch gear from ransomware attacks to emails, 1 in 131 emails contain malware, right? They are phishing mails. This is about 1%. And about 6.5% of the victims people are victims for identity fraud. And if you believe all these things happen only big businesses, the attackers only target big businesses, you're deeply mistaken, because 43% of the cyber attacks are actually targeted at small business. And this is very logical too, because big businesses employ a lot of security engineers, sophisticated people, and they get data into the SIEM tools, they do a lot of analysis. But if you're running a small business, you have only time to focus on your business. So it is easy for an attacker to target you and attack your system. So that was a generic statistics, right? What it really means to you. Let's talk about what it means to you. So if an attacker typically sends mail to 100 people in your organization, 30 of them will open that email, and 12 of them will actually click the malicious links or an attachment. And all this will happen within the span of 3 minutes and 45 seconds. That's all it's going to take for somebody to intrude and get a full total into your system. And within next 24 to 48 hours, that is 1 to 2 days, they will have a complete control of your network. They would have moved laterally, and they would have completely owned your network. But the average time it's going to take for you to detect that intruder, right, before you even detect his presence, it's going to take you 197 days. This is the average. And this is over 6 months. And the cost of a data breach will be about $3.8 million, and this is the statistics. You may say, okay, I'm not getting breached, so I'm not paying for it. But that's not true. You're still paying for it because you're paying for the cyber insurance. The cost of the cyber insurance is growing up so much as the attackers are getting sophisticated. It's expected to triple by 2050 and hit a whooping number of $7.5 billion. So security is, the breaches are going to cost you. You need to assume breach and do things at your end to ensure that you are protected accordingly. When I think of security, I think of it twofold, and you should think too, specifically if you are putting your data in the cloud. The first thing to think about is your cloud provider secure? So in this case, we are talking Microsoft. So what is Microsoft 365? What are we doing to keep your data secure? How are we protecting against intruders? How are we going to detect them? So that is one part of it. The second thing is, how are you keeping your front door secure? Because 90% of the attacks happen through front door. It is very easy for an attacker to compromise one user in your account and start intruding. So we are also going to understand today what are the kind of tools that we can provide you to keep your front door secure. Also, the basic principle of security, so the ground building blocks are the protection features. We are not going to talk about it today because this talk is on assumed breach. We are going to see some of the attack patterns on how you can get attacked and remediate. But protection is super important. Protection could be things like the investment that we do in antivirus, or the investment that we do in network security, or the engineering practices and other things. In this talk, we are not going to cover, but M365 invests heavily in protection features. What we are really going to talk about is how can an attacker breach any of these things, and when he does it, what are the kind of investments we have so that we can very quickly detect it and do incident response. That's what this talk is going to be focused on. So we talked about what are the kind of attackers over there. We also talked about why assume breach, because it's going to be costly. So let's now get into an attacker mind. How does attacker typically happen? It's important for us to understand the attacker kill chain. What attacker typically would do when he decides to attack you is he does the initial recon. So he plans how to really attack your system. And he tries to get 99% of the attack starts with the user. He tries to compromise one user in your company and tries to get in, and that's how the initial compromise happens. When that initial compromise happens and that attacker is able to get in, it's not super bad if he's able to get into your peripheral server, right? Because he's not able to get into the data yet. So attacker will get into one of your server by using a random user account which doesn't have a lot of privileges, and he will lurk. He will establish a foothold. He will try to figure out what are all the things that he can do there. If by chance that user account had some privileges, he will try to install his tools, his attack kits, using which he can watch more. But what he's actually watching for is to get hold of an account that has a much higher privilege, that has an escalated privilege, because what he's really looking for is an admin account using which he can do a lot more damages, or he can traverse a lot more and he can move laterally. So once he finds an admin account, an account with a very high privilege, in the attack kill chain, that is called elevation of privileges. So by then he has struck luck. He can do a lot more things. But he still doesn't do any harm. He still watches. One of the security principles that we talk about is when you really design a big system, specifically if you're running on-prem, ensure that your breach boundary is very small, so that if an attacker is able to get into your system and able to compromise and get hold of an account, an admin account, he will still not be able to traverse much. He will still be able to not go beyond a set of breach boundary that you have small set of servers. So that is one of the core principles. We operate like that in our M365 data center. Even if an attacker is able to compromise, he will not be laterally able to move and compromise the entire system. Okay, so we talked about, the attacker waits and tries to find out another account which has an elevated privilege, and then he tries to move laterally, and eventually he tries to get to your backend where the data is, and that is where the real damage happens. So in the assume breach principle, what we really say is, expect that your attacker will be able to come to your front ends, right? Like your peripheral server. It is super important for you to detect your attacker very quickly there and evict the attacker so that he can really not get to the meat. He can really not get to the core data. So when we think of security and detection, scale is a huge advantage because signals are what is going to tell us what is an attack pattern, correct? Microsoft has a huge advantage here because in Microsoft, we operate with over 1 billion Windows devices from where we are getting signals. We get 450 billion Azure Active Directory logons where we are getting a lot of usage signals, and 400 billion Office emails analyzed. We use all these things for security purposes only. The signals that we get from these systems we completely obfuscate customer data from it. So all the security engines that I'm going to talk about later in the presentation, we never expose customer data there. We only look at the security patterns and the signals from here. So overall, we operate with 6.5 trillion signals a day. That's a huge amount of signals. I don't know anybody, any other company can say that they operate with this kind of signals. So because we get this much amount of signals, we are able to really use it to spot an attack, detect an attack, and take action. And just over last month, we were able to block 5 billion distinct malware using Windows Defender ATP. And all these analyses are happening because of the kind of signals we are able to collect. Okay, so we just talked about who the attackers are and the kind of attack patterns, and we talked about the kill chain. Let's go deeper and talk about how the attack starts. All attacks, 99% of the attack starts with an account. An attacker is able to get hold of a malicious account in your system, and then he starts moving around. So in Microsoft 365, we are very aware of it, and we have been operating over last 5 years with the principle of zero standing access. We have over 5,000 engineers operating in Microsoft Data Center, and none of them have accounts with any elevated privileges. Anytime they really want to do anything in the system, they use what we call Lockbox. I have been talking about Lockbox for a long time. How many of you have heard about Lockbox? Okay, yeah. So, when a Microsoft engineer wants to do anything in our data center, by default, he has no access. He needs to request access to a system called Lockbox. And this is true for any big task like, say, exfiltrating data, which is like a very hard task. You won't get approval for it easily. But even for a mundane task like rebooting a server, you have to go via Lockbox. The engineer will submit requests to Lockbox, and the Lockbox has a lot of predefined rules. If the Lockbox believes you as an engineer should not be touching the system or data or server, it will reject your request right there. But if the Lockbox determines that, okay, you are allowed to reboot a server, and then it will send a mail to the Microsoft approvers. Typically, they are your Microsoft managers, who can decide whether you're allowed to do the task or not. And this is true even for a most primitive task like rebooting a server. And only after your approver approves, you're able to do this task. But let's say you're trying to export data by chance on a customer. This becomes even more stringent. You won't be able to do that with just the permission of your manager. You need all the way up to VP level approvals, and all questions are asked on why do you need this kind of access. So with Lockbox, we have been operating in our data center with a scoped access, least privilege access. So you get access to do just the task you want to do, and you don't get a big admin-like access across all the servers in our data center. The permission is given just in time when you really want to do, when you want to reboot a server, you get permission to reboot server and nothing else. And it is only for a limited duration, whatever time period that you asked for, and nothing more. The access is given only after the approval from the data custodian, Microsoft managers or VPs, depending on what level of access that you're asking. And there is a strong audit logging on what exactly happened, who accessed what did they do. So this is how we have been operating for over 5 years in our data center. And every time we talk about this, the customers ask, okay, when are we getting this, right? Because customers also have a very, very similar risk. Let's try to understand the risk. So we are announcing a general availability of a product called Privileged Access Management. This is actually taking Lockbox, with which we have been operating data center, and taking it to your tenant. Let's take an example, right? Today, if I'm a tenant admin for Fabricam, I can set a new journal rule, and I can siphon off all your CEO's email to a rogue email address today. Today, I can do this, and you will not be able to detect it very quickly. You have to mine a lot of PowerShell logs before you will be able to get to this. And imagine me doing it in your CFO's account just before your quarterly results. Damage is done before you can even detect something like this. But if you enable privileged access management, you'll be able to go to Office 365 Admin Center, and you can go and define a policy. So you'll be able to go define a policy. Here I'm going to set up a policy to say for new journal rule, it requires access approvers. So I have predefined access approvers called privileged access approvers, the set of users who can approve this task. And I create this policy. And after I have created this policy, if I'm as an admin trying to run a new journal rule, this will fail out. It will say, please raise an elevated access request for this task because new journal rule requires now permission. So if I still want to run a new journal rule, just like how we do things in data center, you will have to ask for permission. You will be running a new elevated access request commandlet. You will have to say for how long do you want this permission and for doing exactly what. Once you do this, the lockbox system in which we call as privileged access management for you actually will send email to all your approvers. And the approvers will be able to come to the M365 admin center and they'll be able to approve. They can also deny if they believe that you have no business to be running journal rule, correct? And specifically if you're doing on your CEO's mailbox, they will deny. And only after they have approved, you will be able to run this. And not just that, if you enable privileged access management and got approval and ran something like this, we have very, very rich auditing. In Office 365 Admin Center, you'll be able to go and it will have all the records on who asked for permission to run the journal rule, who approved, and who actually ran the journal rule with all the timestamp. So it will be very difficult for one of your so we talked about rogue insider as one of the attackers, if you remember. It'll be very difficult for one of your tenant admins to go rogue and do bad things undetected. So with privileged access management is one of the core protection that you have against your rogue insiders. So to capture back, with Office 365 privileged access management, if you enable this, either the admin or the users who really want to do tasks which are very critical and which can compromise some data, they won't be able to do it even if they have admin permission. They have to request privileged access. The approvers have to approve. And after that, the users or the admins can run the task. The privilege will expire after the time period that they have asked for approval, and the user will not have access after that. So it is following the same principle on task-based access control. So essentially the principle here is nobody has a full godlike admin access anymore. The access is just in time, just enough access, and there is no standing admin access by default, and there is rich auditing available so that you can go back and figure out what exactly happened in your tenancy. So with the principle of assume breach, as I said that since 99% of the attacks happen through account compromise, it is super important that nobody has godlike account in your tenancy too. This has been very, very useful for us in our data center in M365, so we take the same thing to you. So enable privileged access management and ensure that not only your tenant admins cannot go rogue and do bad things, they are not easily compromised and attacker is able to go do bad things. If you want more details on exactly how to configure this, we have a detailed presentation on this tomorrow. I'll be showing you at the end of this presentation links to that. So far we talked about how you can run your tenancy and how we run our data center with not much privileged accounts, right? Like with the ability to ask for just-in-time account and with just enough access. Let's switch gear and let's assume an attacker is able to come in to the system. So what we are now going to talk about is how are you quickly able to detect and how are you going to be able to evict these attackers. So first, I'm going to talk about M365 Cloud, right? What we are doing. This is super important for you because your data is with us, and it is very critical for you to understand the kind of investments we have in this space. So the first thing, we have always run M365 by assuming breach. Our security strategy has always been beyond defense. We have a smart of red team. They are basically attackers. They just attack our system with the strict rules of engagement. They simulate outside attacks. So they use all the external known TTPs, the unknown TTPs, and they attack our system through all possible means. So parallel to the red team, we have a blue team. The responsibility of a blue team is, as the red team attacks, the blue team is going to detect quickly, and the blue team is also going to practice incident response as the red team attacks. So we have been doing this manually for several years now. And what we realized with the scale that we have, today M365 operates with over 1 million servers. That's the kind of scale that we have, correct? It is really not possible to do these things manually. So we heavily believe in the principle of automation. So we quickly realized a good detection needs a rich set of signals, because signals are the one that is really going to train our system and give the ability to detect. So we said, you know what? Why do we really wait for somebody else to attack us? Why don't we attack ourselves? So we have now a component called attack bot. And an attack bot, so the red team, when it comes up with a new way of attacking M365, they program all these attacks into attack bot, and attack bot attacks us every hour. So attack bot uses the combination, they completely emulate the outside attackers, right? They do the combinations of attacks that the red team has written on them, which is the known attacks, and they try to attack the system every hour. So this is generating hundreds and thousands of signals so that our detection system can learn. The detection system has a lot of algorithms, and these algorithms are machine learning based too, and they need to be trained. So to train this detection system, the attack bot signals really help. And very shortly, Art is going to give you a complete demo of how on a real attack, on how the attack bot attacks the M365 system and how our detection system can catch this. So attack bot is attacking us once every hour with thousands of attacks, correct? And it is creating a lot of signals in. And how do we detect this? So our detection system is based on first a collection agent that is installed on our millions of servers. This is called host IDS. The host IDS is the agent that is sitting on all our servers and that is looking for interesting signals, right? They can be ETW-based signals. These are the net flow data or the process details that is happening on each of these boxes. They can be the Windows operating system-based signals, right? Like the disk access, the security signals. And these are also the context data, how the deployment is happening, what is the inventory management, are the machines put in and out. The host IDS also collects application data. Like for example, an Exchange server behaves very differently than a SharePoint server. And the collection of events that happens on an Exchange server are different than a SharePoint server. So those interesting data are also collected. So the kind of signals that the host IDS collects and then pumps in, all I'm talking about is in the order of million events per second. So this is a lot of data. Attack bot also is a huge contributor to these signals because remember, attack bot is attacking each of these machines every hour. So a lot of signals are coming from attack bot too. So all these signals are then collected in our detection repository, what we call as Vanquish. And in this Vanquish repository is where the interesting algorithms are running. When you think about detection, the big problem with this detection is not only that there are a lot of signals that is getting collected, there is a lot of noise too. We are talking on the order of 100 million signals, right? Like over an hour. So there is a lot of noise. The interesting thing is, how do we actually weed out these noise and really pick the right attack pattern? And that happens in Vanquish. Vanquish is where we run all our rule-based algorithms as well as tons of ML, machine learning-based algorithms to determine what the actual attack is. And from there, we output about on the order of 100 attacks that our security engineers take a look into. And also the critical ones which we really determine are the attacks are on the order of handfuls, where we page our on-call engineers, the security engineers, as well as the incident managers, and we do the full blue team routine, which we are just now going to show you a demo of. So if you are thinking on the kind of scale that we are talking about, we get the raw events on the order of 4 millions per second. And this is pumped into Vanquish. The Vanquish runs all these algorithms, and the signals of interest are on the order of around 10,000s per hour, on which the detections are built, which is on the order of hundreds a day. So this is the actual detection heat map that I picked up from M365. So if you see the blue signals, these are the anomaly signals that is happening on the machine individually. And they are less interesting because if we start focusing on every single such signals that's happening on each machine, it's going to be noise. At the end of the day, we are constrained by limited set of engineers. What is more interesting are the triangulation algorithms that really run in Vanquish, where the collection of anomalies are connected, and that is where you see the red signals. The red signals indicate that there is something really bad happening in the machine. So it requires the eyes of the security analyst, and when the collection of such red signals happen, it is converted into a paging alert, and the system determines who to page. We also have a set of automated remediation where for certain bad things when it happened, let's say the exfiltration of data is happening, or somebody is able to connect to a command and control post outside, a blue team has to do a robust investigation. But for a simple things, for example, the firewall rule that you determined is the right set of firewall rule got misaligned, there can be an automated remediation. The system can go fix it right away, and we do all that too. At this moment, I'm going to hand it over to Art so that he can walk through a real detection and the incident response sample that we have in our data center.
All right, thanks, Raji. So in the beginning of this talk, Raji made a very important point. She said that ultimately assumed breach is about not taking anything for granted. It means that we can't take our protection investments for granted and just assume that no one will ever get in. We should certainly invest strongly in protecting our systems as much as possible, but we have to assume that a sufficiently smart and resourceful attacker can still make it in, and we need a strategy for dealing with that. But we have to go further than that too. We cannot take our detection systems for granted. We can't just assume that we build this complex system that processes millions of events and that it's always going to work. We need to regularly validate that system. We need to make sure that it's actually raising the alerts that it should be raising. And we need to make sure that it's doing the things that we need it to do, which is to say stopping attackers. Now, Raji referenced AttackBot, so what I'll be talking about now is how we actually use AttackBot to do that kind of validation, to show that our detection systems really are functioning, and they're catching real attacks, and they're raising alerts for real attacks, and they're allowing us to remediate those real attacks. All right, so with this demo, we're going to show you how we actually can trigger an AttackBot run and what happens next. All right, so what you're seeing here is me actually triggering an AttackBot scenario against our service. As Raji mentioned, AttackBot emulates attackers. It is very realistic. It's as real as you can get without actually letting the bad guys in. This isn't log injection. This isn't data injection. This is actual malware written by our red team, our expert team of hackers, that we are running inside of our service infrastructure to simulate what an attacker would do if they were to somehow get in. So in this case, I'm triggering an AttackBot run, and it's simulating data exfiltration. You can imagine that if an attacker somehow manages to get access to our backend machines, they're going to want to steal a lot of the customer data that we store there. They're going to want to take that data and siphon it off to some endpoint on the internet. And that's exactly what AttackBot is doing here. This AttackBot scenario is running on a specific machine in our service infrastructure, and it is sending a huge quantity of data to an external endpoint controlled by AttackBot. That endpoint is on the internet somewhere. And again, the entire goal here is to simulate what data theft might look like if an attacker were to get in our service. And really, we want to be able to answer the question, hey, can we actually detect this? Can we do anything about it? Now, before I go on, let me talk a little bit about safety. First of all, Raji talked about lockbox and the fact that anytime we run potentially sensitive or dangerous commands inside the data center, there's approval that's required. There are a lot of safety mechanisms in place, and this is no exception. So you can actually see the approval language there. When I triggered this attackbot run, lockbox requested approval. My managers looked at it. They said, OK, we know this is a test. We know this is a simulated attack. It's OK. We'll allow it to proceed. So that's the first safety mechanism in place. The second, I really want to be clear about this, attackbot does not actually touch any of the customer data. It is, in fact, running on the backend machines that power our infrastructure, but it drops a fake data file and then siphons that off to the internet. From the perspective of the signals that get generated, it looks just like an attacker who is stealing actual customer data. You're going to see a spike in bandwidth. You're going to see connections to these external domains and things like that. But because we want to make sure that all customer data is safe and secure, even when we're simulating these attacks, we don't actually touch any of the customer data when we run these tools. Nonetheless, they're as realistic as you can possibly get without actually touching that customer data. All right, so now that I've run it, let's see what happens next. So this screen shows the attackbot command and control interface. Right? So if you're an attacker, you're going to have a command and control service somewhere on the internet. It's going to allow you to see what your malware is doing. It's going to allow you to see how it's progressing towards its objective. And it's going to allow you to take further actions. That's what you're seeing here. I won't go through all the details. The important thing to point out is that, again, we are targeting a real machine in the infrastructure, and the attackbot C2 is telling us that that machine is, in fact, being targeted by this malware. The green section indicates what attackbot is doing. And again, for the purposes of this demo, just remember, it is exfiltrating data. It is simulating the theft of data and the sending of that data to an external endpoint. This is what an attacker would do if they were actually in our service trying to steal customer data. This is a very important scenario for us to detect and stop. All right, so this slide indicates that, hey, this scenario was actually successful. Attackbot launched. It started trying to steal data. So what happens next? Again, remember, the question is, can we actually do something about this? And the answer is yes. Here's an alert that we raised. This is an actual alert that gets raised to our blue team on-call engineers about security incidents that may be happening in the service. You should note a few things about this alert. First of all, the alert indicates the exact machine that was compromised, or the exact machine where this strange behavior is noticed. And that is the exact machine that's being targeted by attackbot. You may not see it, but if you look at the timestamp on this alert, it happened within minutes, less than 5 minutes from when that attackbot scenario started. So this is a real-time alert. That triggered within minutes. You know, Raji mentioned that we have a complex signals processing infrastructure that processes millions of events per second to raise real-time alerts. And this is an example of that. The other thing to keep in mind is that the alert actually tells you in that alert body why we raised the alert. What signals or what combination of signals led us to conclude that an alert was actually warranted? And in this particular case, there were a few things that stood out on this machine. First of all, there is that network bandwidth signal that I mentioned. If an attacker is trying to steal a large quantity of data and siphon that off to the internet, you're going to see a spike in bandwidth. It's exactly what you saw here. One of the other things that you'll see is that an attacker will connect to an unusual external IP. That's the attacker's C2. It's exactly what you saw here. Our systems intelligently determined that the IP that was being contacted by attackbot is something that we really haven't seen before. It's unusual. That piece of data, taken in conjunction with this network bandwidth signal and a few other pieces of information, allowed our systems to conclude that, hey, this is something bad. This is an attack going on. And to raise this alert in real time, enabling us to take remediation. So I won't say too much more about this alert right now. I do have a talk later this week, Thursday morning, where we will do a deeper dive into how this type of alert gets raised. This is one of our machine learning alerts that intelligently combines signals to raise high-fidelity alerts. We'll talk more about that then, but for now, the important thing to keep in mind is that we raise this alert in real time, on the order of minutes from when the attack scenario began. It was for the exact machine, so it tells us exactly which part of the service was compromised. And the alert tells us why it was raised. What are the specific things that our system saw that enabled them to conclude that something bad was happening? And that last part is really important because it allows us to remediate. Just raising alerts for attacks, even if they're totally accurate, even if they happen in real time, that's not enough. Because if an actual attack occurs, we have to be able to take action and stop it before customer data is compromised, before the attacker is actually able to successfully steal it or do damage to it or things like that. And so remember, in the alert, there were a few key pieces of information that our response teams get so that they know what to do next. The first is they know exactly which machine was being targeted. They also know what the external IP address is that this attacker is using for their command and control and for siphoning off all that data that they're trying to steal. Because we saw attempts to connect to that IP, and that's why we raised the alert. Well, those two pieces of information allow us to take action. That's what you're seeing here at the bottom of the screen. We are running a command. This is a tool that we built, the blue team built, to take action against the attacks that we see. And in this particular case, the action is to prevent connections to that external IP from this machine. And that stops the attack. That prevents the malware from contacting its C2 infrastructure. It prevents the malware from siphoning off data to that external destination. It keeps the data secure. And again, all these things happen on the order of minutes. This alert can this remediation action can get triggered automatically in some cases without human intervention. And even if people need to intervene, this can take effect within a minute or two. And so the main thing here, to tie everything together, is that AttackBot allows us to simulate attacks. It is a high-fidelity representation of what attackers actually might do. Our detection systems can raise accurate alerts in real time for that kind of behavior. And we have remediation tooling that allows us to act and stop those attacks and mitigate them, again, in near real time, in response to the things that our alerts identified. Before I go, I will say one more thing, and that is scale. Raji mentioned we have a huge service, hundreds of thousands of machines. This particular example shows how we can take action against one machine, but we can do these things at scale as well. We have infrastructure that allows us to take this type of action against a set of machines in the service, wherever we detect the offending behavior. So even though we're showing you how we can take action and mitigate an attack on one particular machine for the purposes of this demo, in real life, we are prepared for a situation where we have to act at scale, where we have to act against entire sets of machines, entire pieces of the infrastructure, and to do so very quickly and prevent these types of things from propagating throughout the service. And so with that, I'll hand it back to Raji.
Great. So you learned from Art on how exactly we assume breach, we do the detection, and we create signals with AttackBot. We really mimic the external attackers, and then how we do incident response. So the next thing is, what do we have for you? So as I said, we take the same principles on how we operate in our data center, and we then give it to you. So the principle is same. So in your own tenancy, attack yourself before somebody else does, because somebody is looking to attack you. So how can you do that? So we have a product out there. It's called Attack Simulator. So the principle is this with Attack Simulator. Attackers use the same pattern to attack you, specifically the front door, and they succeed every time. They use simple philosophy. They use phishing. They send you phishing emails. Expect that if they send it to 100 people in your org, 30 of them will at least open it, and 12 of them will click it. So they leverage that. They use password spray. They will try to spray one password across many people in your company and try to get some hit. and they do things like spoofing. So it's a very similar attack pattern. So use this tool, Attack Simulator, attack yourself, and figure out how vulnerable your users are and improve their security profile. This tool also helps you to prove to your senior management the improvement path that, hey, people are more aware, they are setting better passwords, or even more. In this Ignite, we announced passwordless access. You should go passwordless. You should be able to access your accounts without passwords. And also, this is a attestation of how well you're doing your job, that you're improving the security profile in your company. Let's try to do a quick demo of Attack Simulator. How can we do this, okay? So you go to Office 365 Security and Compliance Center. Today we have published 3 kinds of attacks, but this is a fast growing list. As we see more and more attacks out there in the industry, we'll be authoring that in this tool. So today we have a phishing attack that you can run, or you can run a brute force password attack. This is the dictionary attack. You attack a user with all kinds of passwords and assume that you will get one hit. Or you can do a password spray attack, where you will hit a set of users, almost all the users in your company, with a password and hope that you will get some hit, right? You do this as a tenant admin to improve the security profile, but remember, the attackers outside have other tools to do this, and I'll show that very soon too. Let's take an example and launch a password spray attack. So we are a company located in Seattle, and we passionately love Seahawks. How many of you here are Seahawks fan? Anybody? Oh yeah, there's a lot of hands. Okay, there are some double hands too. Seahawks did great. A few years ago, they won the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, this season is not going too well. The first 2 games were too bad, but the third one was all right. But we are still an avid Seahawks fan. So if you are a company in Seattle, and if you want to do a password spray with some combination of Seahawks, and if you're an attacker, you will be in luck. You will find at least one user with some combination of Seahawks. So here what I'm really showing you is, as a tenant admin or a security administrator in your org, you are now just going to simulate an attack in your company to see the security profile. So you're going to run a password spray attack for Seahawks 2018 Rocks. This is our wish. I'm going to run this attack on 2 users, John Smith and Jane Doe. But you can run this attack at scale across any of your DL. You can choose up to 500 members. If you're picking a DL that has more than 500 members, it only attacks the first 500. That's the limitation right now. So I do next, and I author this attack. I finish. Once I have authored this attack, now I'm going to launch this attack. So I launch this attack. And when this attack ran, what you really see is you got a 100% success rate. You got a 100% success rate here because I created this tenancy. I created those 2 users, John Smith and Jane Doe, and I set that password to be this. But if you are running in your big tenancy with thousands of users, you are just going to get a hit of the people who had this kind of password. The success rate here is not a good sign. If you are a security admin or tenant admin, you want this number to go down. You want less and less people using common passwords, so the success rate is a misleading term. But in this demo, what I just showed you is you can use the attack simulator and find out who are the people who are using weak passwords, or you can also find out dictionary attack. So we recently launched, again, we are a big Seahawks fan, so in the last season, we launched an attack against all the Microsoft tenants, like the MSIT users, phishing campaign, right? We launched a phishing campaigns to say there is a meet and greet party. You can win a meet and greet party to go and meet Seahawks players, correct? You will be super amused. Even in Microsoft, we got so many hits. So many people clicked on that link. People don't even stop by to see whether the link looks genuine or not. And we have done a lot of education campaign on this, and we hope that data keeps going down. But it's super amusing how vulnerable users are, and even some of our senior executives clicked on that. So use this tool and find out what is the security profile in your org. So this is the attack simulator tool that we used. But now I'm going to switch gear. Now I'm a real attacker. So I'm not using attack simulator. Attack simulator is the tool for you to figure out within your tenancy as an admin. But now I'm an attacker, and I'm going to show you as a real attacker how I can leverage the easily available tools in the market and attack you, and what you can do to detect and remediate. So the purpose of this is for you to understand how you can really detect. Okay. Switching gear, now I'm a real attacker. I'm going to use a tool called Mail Sniper. It is so easily available. You can just import this, run it with PowerShell from anywhere in the world. So I'm going to use Mail Sniper and try to attack this company. I create a tenancy called Secure Score Team. Remember, there are 2 users here with the password Seahawks2018rocks. So me as an attacker just randomly picked up those 6 users that you see over there. I just went to LinkedIn and saw who are all the users there, randomly picked up 6 names, and I'm going to do a password spray attack on those 6 users with Seahawks2018rocks. And of course, one of the 6 users was John Smith. Let's assume that you never ran attack simulator, you never caught this, but me as an attacker is catching this, right? So now I caught hold of John Smith's account, which had the password Seahawks2018rocks. John Smith is not an admin, but if you remember the kill chain that I walked through initially, I got an initial compromise. I didn't get an admin account, but I got an initial compromise of an user who is not an admin, but I'm able to come into your system. This is what an attacker would do. Then, some of these command lists, I don't even know why they are so freely available. Now that I have John Smith's account, I'll be able to get your complete GAL. I'll be able to export your global address list and get the access to all the employees in your system. At least I'll be able to figure out who are all in your company. So I'll run this. I got an output of all employees in your GAL. Now I don't have to go to LinkedIn and fish and figure out who are all the employees. Just by compromising one account, a user account, I'm now able to export all the employees in your GAL. With the same John Smith's account, now I can get Azure directory role member and figure out who among these employees are admins. So when I run this commandlet, it outputs the 6 admins in your org. So I started my initial compromise with a simple user account who is not an admin, with just doing a password spray. With that account, I was able to export out the entire GAL, and I can also export out who are all the admins. Bingo, what do you see in this admin list? Of the 6 admin list, you see Jane Doe. Incidentally, Jane Doe also had the same password. So now as an attacker, the next step for me to do is again use the Mail Sniper, run invoke password spray AWS on these admins, and see if any of them have the password Seahawks2018rocks. And yes, I got 1 hit because Jane Doe again had such a weak password, and now as an attacker, I got a lottery. Now I got an admin's account, correct? I can do a lot of bad things. Think of the kind of things that I can do. I can set a journal rule on your CEO's mail and then siphon all the emails to a rogue email address. Or I can set an inbox rule on your CEO and do a mail forwarding to John Smith. Remember, I also have John Smith's account with me. I know his password. Or I can do folder permissions and then set all kinds of access right, owner access right for John Smith on your CEO's mailbox. But if you have been paying attention, you will remember that I talked about a product called Privileged Access Management initially when I talked about elevated privileges. If you had set up Privileged Access Management in your tenancy, me as an attacker would not be able to do it. Because if I was running a new inbox rule or if I was running a new journal rule, I would have gotten an error to say, hey, this requires approval. And I have to ask for elevated rights. So which essentially means I need to compromise at least another admin who has to approve this elevated rights. And not only that, in our admin center, all those records show up. So it is very easy breach investigation. So I highly encourage that you guys should set the privileged access management on so that if your admins are compromised, they are not able to do these things. And it is super easy. I mean, you saw how easy it was to compromise. I mean, you can protect these things by setting right conditional policies and stuff, but oftentimes tenants don't do that, so it is an easy compromise. This demo was not really about how easy it is to compromise. It is about how easy you can detect it, right? So let's try to understand how can we detect this, right? Over the last year, I work very closely with the Exchange team, so I'm going to talk for Exchange, but I'm sure this is true with SharePoint and other workloads too. We have invested very, very deeply on improving our telemetry so that you can do breach investigations easily and you can detect certain attack patterns. We now log all the IP addresses, and we also log all the actions that happen when it happens through the Office client and through all kinds of protocols like MAPI, et cetera. Previously, the logging was happening only when things happen through PowerShell, but now we are investing very heavily in logging, and if you still do not find the kind of events that you want, please talk to us because we do plan to invest heavily in this space. So Jane Doe was compromised and the bad action got taken. So you as an administrator, you will get an alert now in Office 365. You get this email. You can click on Investigate, and you go into the Office 365 Security and Compliance Center. From this place, you can choose either to resolve the account if you believe that it is just a noise, or suppress this account, because if this typically happens in your company, and or you can notify the users. These are some of the remediation action that you can take when the alert fires. But more deeply, if you have MCAS, are you guys familiar with MCAS? That is also our breach investigation and remediation tool. If you have MCAS, we also show you a lot more information. For example, we show you the location from where these actions are happening. Jane Doe is doing mail forwarding rule setting from Russia. This should trigger an alert to you. Why is this action happening from Russia? Or if you want to expand on any of these actions, for example, in the mail forwarding inbox rule, if you expand, you see that the ISP from which this call is coming is 000 Fishnet Communications. And that is also going to trigger some alarm on you. What is this? I don't recognize this company, right? Or you can go to the users and try to understand the usage pattern. Remember, one signal is bad when I even showed you the detection heat map, but the collection of signals is what really calls out a real attack. So if you see here, Jane Doe is operating from 2 countries, and that should sound strange to you. And if you see here, her typical frequent usage location is United States. But if you look at the IP address from where these calls are coming, they are actually coming from Russia, Moscow, and from this IP address, which you are absolutely not familiar from. And these are the kind of signals that we right now write into that you can really use to do the breach investigation on your side. And as Art said, detection is one thing. It is super important for you to detect, but it is also really important for you to set the remediation policies when such things happen. Again, using MCAS, you will be able to set such policies. For example, if a set journal rule is happening, you can actually either notify the user, or you can even suspend the user account, or you can require the user to re-sign on. So you can set all kinds of remediation policies also from MCAS. So we over this session, we just talked about that we always assume breach. So we also believe in the principle that attack ourselves before somebody else attacks. We do that in our data center with AttackBot, but we have a tool for you just to do that using Attack Simulator. We have a heavy investment in detection and incident response, and we are investing very heavily in improving our telemetry so that you can do the same kind of breach investigation and response. And these are all the investments that we do, but as Art said, in the assume breach world, you can never take security for granted. So in that principle, I also want to talk about how do we do security assessment? How do we know that in our M365, a workload is secure at all? Across all these security controls, protection controls, detection controls, and incident response controls. So again, with the principle of automation, we have built something called as a validation engine, which actually goes through all these controls across all the workloads, uses AttackBot to attack, and then figures out what is the exact security profile, and then we score on it. We believe scoring is very useful because scoring actually triggers the kind of response that we need from our executives to up-level security and to get more and more security investment. We take the same principle to you. So Microsoft M365 Secure Score is somewhere that you should be going, and that should be one spot for you to figure out what is your security profile, right? How secure you are. This has been live for around 2 years, and it has been scoring you on Office 365 controls. But very recently, we have expanded this to include AAD controls as well as EMS. And it is closely plugged into Windows Defender security. You will be able to go to Office 365, see what your score is, and what is the comparison score across other people in your industry. And not only that, from M365 Secure Score, you will be able to take action. For example, it will tell you that, hey, set up MFA to get 50 more points, and you will be able to click there and enforce MFA for your organization. We have 2 deep talks on Secure Score. I'll also give you a link to that, and you should be attending that and figure out how you can leverage Secure Score for improving your security profile. We call it a one-stop place that you should be going from where you should be able to drive all your security needs. So to fold this presentation, what we really talked about is when you are operating on a cloud, security is twofold. The first thing is how secure is your cloud service provider, in this case, Microsoft 365. I hope we didn't talk a lot about our protect features. That should be another presentation. But we talked a lot about our investments in detection and incident response, and also on the fact that we don't operate with privileged accounts. And we also talked about the kind of tools for you to do the same thing to keep your front door secure. And please follow those practices because 90% of the attacks start with front door. It is easy for an attacker to compromise your tenancy and attack you rather than look for your data in our data center, because we operate with 3,500 security professionals in data center and we have a lot of investments. So please keep your front door safe. And with that, we are open for questions. Yes. Do you mind coming to the mic, please? Sorry.
We have administrative accounts that are running scheduled tasks. How would you make PAM work with those?
So today, PAM does not work with scheduled tasks yet. It is only for running commandlets individually. That is the next version of PAM we are talking about. Actually, when we piloted this with MSIT, that was the exact ask that they came up with. That is coming very, very soon. Yes.
Want to go first? Sure. Just with the password spray, does that get nullified with multi-factor authentication on for the accounts, or is it doing something in the back end?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
With MFA on for the accounts?
No, with MFA on, you would not be able to do password spray easily. Is that correct?
and they just hit OK on it and go by. Yeah.
That has happened too, but MFA is good. It is a level of protection, so please set it, because sometimes the users don't do it with muscle memory and they are cautious. So, yeah, so what Brandon said was MFA is good, that it will prompt the user, because oftentimes also the users click it with muscle memory. They ignore the prompt, but MFA is good. It's all goodness, so please set, yeah, that is one protection that you have.
Can you explain the difference between PIM and PAM?
Yeah, so PIM is privileged identity management. It operates at a role level, and PAM operates on a task level. So in PIM, when you really want to become an admin, for example, that is with just-in permission. You go and ask PIM for, PIM and PAM works very closely together, and it is going to be one product very soon. But think of PIM more as you become a just-in-time admin, but you still become admin with a much broader rights. In PAM, you are going to ask for rights for executing exactly the task that you want and not more. PAM today is available only with the Exchange, but PIM and PAM is a tightly integrated product, yeah.
So for years I've been harping that our administrators, you need to have separate administrator accounts. It just made sense. Do you see with privileged access management maybe moving away from that so that regular me, I request rights to do something and it's fully audited? Or do you still see the practice of separate administrator accounts?
No, we really want to get away from the separate administrative account, because these separate administrative account can easily get compromised too. When they get compromised, you can do a lot of bad things. So what we really want to do is provision a just-in-time permission, and that too not an administrative account with big rights, for a very limited scope of the administrative task that you really want to do and nothing more. So we really want to get into that space and get away from a fixed account.
Thank you.
You showed us a bunch of different tools like a tax simulator and MCAS. Can you tell us what licensing we need to get those tools?
Carolyn, you want to take this question? I think attack simulator is part of E5 SKU, and correct me if I'm wrong. It is part of E5 SKU. I don't know whether, is there a standalone available? Okay, I'm not super sure, and MCAS is also part of E5. These two are part of E5 licenses, but if I'm not wrong, I think so. Oh, Attack Simulator is available as a threat intelligence add-on. Say that again, please. Yeah, so if we oftentimes, I mean, very rarely it happens that attackers, the external attackers, are able to get to your data. My experience having worked in the space is we are able to identify this much early on and take action and evict. We have never had an external attacker being ability to actually get into the data. But if we figure out a customer is being attacked, it can also be the front door attack that can happen. And we also run a lot of detection against that. And if we figure out, we have a standard procedure for communicating to the customer. I think we do it within a stipulated period. I don't remember how long, maybe like, I really don't remember how long. Within that stimulated period, our security engineers, the blue team people, will contact you.
Yeah, so to add a little bit more to that, as Raji said, there is a specific time period in which we notify customers if we do detect that type of scenario. Customers generally give us a few modes of contact, so there are generally dedicated security contacts and roles, and those are the people we'll reach out to. We can often use our support agents to reach out via phone or other means of contacting them securely if needed. So there are established procedures for that.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
You should keep up, go forward one slide.
Because if you're interested in any of these talks that I referenced to, The first one is deep talk on PAM, how you can configure this and what it covers. The next one is, if you really want to understand the machine learning algorithm, the actual algorithm, go to the second talk. Art would be doing that. The next two talks are on secure score, and the last one is, again, on the breach investigation, how to understand threats and how to take action. Okay? Thank you.